Welcome to Moving Unboxed, presented by 495 Movers. I'm Justin.
I'm Andrea.
And today we're going to be going over customer service scenarios related to the moving industry, diving into real life examples that highlight the benefits of having and working with a moving company that has a strong customer service presence, and how to avoid companies that are bad actors and have many red flags in relation to customer service, and how those bad actors and bad companies may perform in these specific scenarios. Andrea, how are we doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Awesome, doing well. Before we jump into the scenarios, what to you, or how would you describe rather, a good customer service team in relation to the moving industry?
I think number one is just communication. So across the board, whether that is before the move, during the move, and after the move, you need to have someone that you can reach out to and gives you that personalized attention for your moving experience.
Yeah, I love that communication. I think accountability, right? When you're going back and forth with someone, this is probably before like any customer service issue has even happened, but you do have like that communication that's happening. Hey, we're going to be arriving at this time. Hey, this is your scheduled time. Oh, by the way, this is a phone call to let you know about your scheduled delivery, whatever it is. You're having all of that communication and the accountability that what they're saying is actually happening. Communication and accountability, I think, are two great starters. And I think as we dive into the scenarios, we'll probably find some other common themes as well. Let's just take it right from the top. You can take the first one here.
Okay, number one, a customer calls the day before the move and says, I haven't heard from anyone. Am I actually scheduled for tomorrow? First of all, this is a red flag in this situation because you always want to have customer service reaching out a day ahead, 24 hours, 48 hours ahead of before the move. If this is something that doesn't happen, then obviously you have people like this calling in, asking questions about, hey, am I still on for tomorrow? What's happening?
Yep, exactly.
So during that confirmation call, 24 to 48 hours before the move, this is going to be whenever the customer service team should be confirming dates, time windows for arrival, addresses, making sure that they're if there's extra stops along the way, like nothing has changed with your actual move itself, including any type of inventory. Maybe you got rid of something that is no longer on the inventory, so they need to let the team know that that is no longer a part of the move inventory that's going into the truck. I think this is just overall to say that you as the customer want to feel confident that going into your move, you're like, they got it completely handled. If anything goes awry, I know exactly who I need to reach back out to. It's just feeling stress-free during your move.
Absolutely. And we're landing right into the accountability lane, like right off the rip here, right? So accountable company is reaching out before the customer has to call, right? Like they're on the forefront of the service, like I was saying in our intro. You're making that, first call to the customer. Hey, we're coming on this day. We're coming in this time. And then, like you said, we're now reviewing the services. Like, we're going to be packing for you. Oh, I forgot. I didn't realize I was packing all these boxes. I'll stop packing, or, hey, you need to be packed and ready to go with your boxes, just again, reviewing who's responsible for what, so that those last minute little hiccups aren't costing a customer extra money. And that's huge because the non-accountable groups, that's exactly what they're going to be doing. Okay, so number 7, we're looking at a scenario where there is no parking available for a moving truck. And the movers are on site. They're trying to make it work, but the building is giving them a hard time. What would customer service do? Typically in these scenarios, property managers will let maybe some things fly. But if you don't have a freight elevator reservation, or you don't have a building reservation, like you can't get the truck into the building and there's no street parking, you're just looking for some common sense solution here. So again, in this end, the green light or the accountable approach from a customer service team is probably to get on the phone with the building, get on the phone with the building manager, so we can just quick source solutions on the go. Because if you're trying to communicate to the customer, to the building, you're going to have maybe miscommunication, missed details, and then it's also going to prolong that communication. We want to get on top of this so that the truck's not blocking anything, the truck's not improperly parked.
I think a good rule of thumbs in this scenario is going to be similar to the elevator situation, where this is going to be a pre-touch conversation that the customer service has with the client.
Yeah.
Right? So any big city that you go into, whether it's like Washington, D.C., New York, whatever, or even specific apartment complexes, they're going to have parking regulations and whatnot. So all of this should be something discussed with the client before the actual move happens.
A customer calls in and says that they notice some small damage, that a few items are scratched, and they want to know what they should do. I think the instant red flag or non-accountable approach is file a claim. Just go file a claim. And the person's like, well, how would I do that? Go to fileamoveclaim.com. Just like they just send you away as fast as you came in.
And then you run in circles for weeks on end trying to speak to an actual person to file the claim.
And you probably won't.
Yeah.
The accountable approach here is customer intake. Like, okay, well, I'm looking at your paperwork. It says that you have, purchase insurance. Okay, great. So you'll go through this insurance process. Customer service will be in contact you how to complete that process, and then you can follow back with them with any issues or difficulties completing that process. If they don't have insurance, in my personal opinion, and I know that we do this a lot, it's always situational, but most movers for small damage will offer something out of pocket. It may not be 100% full value, but it will be something. At our company, it's typically more than valuation protection, which for you kids at home is 60 cents per pound per item up to $10,000. It's what every mover is legally obligated to provide a customer. Thank you. It's nothing. It's nothing. What is it, like a 100-pound item? You might get back, I think that's $60, maybe, or $6, whatever that is. It takes into no consideration into intricate value, what you paid for it, nothing, right? So we typically always offer something more than that. I've seen people tickled to death getting offered $50 for a broken lamp, and I've seen people completely irate about receiving like thousands of dollars offer for an heirloom. So it's always very situational. But even in those moments, I think that a good and reliable team or company is going to offer you something, whether you disagree with the evaluation of what they offered you or not. There can typically be a short conversation, and you'll find out if you're going to be able to have a reasonable accommodation made or not.
And documentation too. I think in any claim that you might be filing, documentation, and also hopefully they have a good claims process put in place, and documentation is a part of that process, because whenever the moving company is most times the middleman between you and the insurance company.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? So making sure that they're also open with you about getting all the necessary documentation of any damaged items, so that you're compensated correctly. So this is going to be after a customer reviews their final bill. So this is after the move. Yeah. So basically in this scenario, the final bill was higher than what the customer expected.
Shocker.
And so they're asking the customer service to explain the charges to them.
Right. So again, in that situation, red flag is complete avoidance. Like, I don't need to explain anything. And I know, again, that sounds crazy, but that is out there. That's in the market. I've dealt with people like this. I've worked with people like that. I've fired people like that before. Like, it is a real thing. Like, I also just kind of believe that customer service is just kind of dying. It may sound pessimistic, but man, like, I feel like the golden age of customer service, and like, not that the customer is always right. I think that is kind of like a wild in theory. There can always be wild customers and wild businesses, like, especially when you look at like the moving industry, there, all the bad actors that are out there. But yeah, the bad companies are always going to avoid. They're gonna, gaslight. They're gonna speak down to you. Oh, my movers, they work 4 extra hours. How dare you? How dare you complain about me charging you time and a half? How
then
dare
you're like,
you?
oh,
Yeah, we
I'm
took care of your
sorry.
sofas. Where do you think you're sleeping tonight? You know what I mean? Like literally giving it back to you. And I have seen that. Again, it sounds wild, but it is out there. The good approach, checking all the right boxes. And this is, again, it kind of goes back to like that added stop conversation. Like they're just legitimatizing all of the costs, right? They're speaking to everything and why the bill is what it is, and then affirming why there is any confusion. Hey, this is what you were estimated. This is the final bill, and now I'm going to communicate how we got from the estimate to the final bill, right? They're just going to be open about it. And even at that point, you still may be upset because you're still paying more money. But at the end of the day, that does happen in the moving industry.
Yeah.
And that's just going back and doing your part. You got to go back to our previous episodes and check out how to not get scammed, how to find the right mover. But if you're landing in that situation, you just want to work with the other side. You don't want to be combative either. You like the red flag of the mover being combative. You also don't want to do the same. You just want to, have a good conversation, discover why there was that confusion, and heck, maybe, if you're having a good enough conversation, they might give you a discount or something like that. But if you're coming in steaming hot, saying, oh, you charge me X, Y, and Z more, customer service may not be as accommodating on trying to work with you on a solution that just makes you happy. And I know that's what we do. Like if we have unhappy customers, we need to find out what needs to make them happy again. And that's what our customer service team does.
Yeah, and in this situation where, hey, I got a higher bill than what I expected to, if it's really that big of a difference, like that's already being communicated to the customer. I think a really good thing that our team does is they, notate that as soon as it's happening, whether they're realizing that they have more inventory than is maybe what was estimated, right? And so they're communicating, the on-site team is communicating that with customer service, and customer service is then letting the customer know before the move is actually finished.
The last scenario that we're going to roll through here is, the end of the move. It's a day or two later, customer is calling customer service and they're saying, I'm missing, my favorite pair of headphones. I can't find them. I'm looking, I can't find them. Green lights or the right group, accountable group is always going to say, hey, we're sorry, we understand you're missing those. The first question I'm asking is, are all the boxes unpacked? Have you unpacked 100% of boxes? Typically, like 98% of the time, the answer is no.
Yeah.
And typically this item was probably put into a box. Maybe it shouldn't have been, maybe it was mislabeled or things like that. You always want to communicate to the customer. You got to look through everything first before we go into like any type of like detailed conversation about compensation or even filing a claim, because you don't want to file a claim, go through all that process, and then a week later you find it because you are finally unpacked with your boxes. It takes time. It takes time to unpack boxes. And I'll tell you this, about 30% of packed boxes in a move, they go to a basement, a storage room, an attic, a shed, a garage, and they're not opened. So if you think that your stuff might be in that, you might have to start opening those plastic bins you're trying to store in the attic. And that's not fun, but that is the process that you want to go through before you really want to start like holding anybody accountable. If you packed it, you want to try to, of course, just retrace your steps, etc. Very normal things. Hey, how do you lose your keys? You retrace your step. Or how do you find your lost keys? You retrace your steps. Yeah. Same thing with the headphones and in boxes.
A couple of things that I want to add to that as well. So number one, you should always be doing a walkthrough before and after to look at inventory before the move happens and after it gets into the truck, right?
Exactly.
Second point is going to be important items. So going to the example of the headphones, that's something that you use on a daily basis, I would assume. So if you are packing yourself or you're having the movers pack for you, those essential items, put them in a separate box, a separate bag that you know exactly where all those important items, maybe it's jewelry, maybe it's your wedding ring, maybe it's important documentation. You need to know where that stuff is.
Yeah. And everyone has that stuff too. Like I've moved with 495 a few times. I trust the guys to pack my kid in a dish pack box if I needed. Like they're the best.
Yeah.
They'll make plenty of breathing holes and it'll be fine. But no, these guys are amazing, right? So when they've moved me, I still have to move my own computer.
Yeah.
Like it's just peace of mind.
Yeah.
Headphones, yeah. I mean, if it's like that, if it's that valuable to you, whatever it is, yeah. I always say this stuff where you just like, I have to know where it is at any given time. Yeah, go ahead and take yourself.
Yeah. See, that was a good point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have good stuff sometimes. Okay, well, that is everything for today, Justin. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. You're the host. I don't know why I'm saying that.
All good.
No, but thank everyone for listening, or if you're watching today. We'll be back next month with more content with moving tips. I think next month we're actually going to be going over senior moves, and we'll have a guest. So again, thank you for listening, and we'll hear back from you next month.